Welcome, everyone, to the 346th episode of the Craftverse series. And today I have some pre-finished builds to show you. We're also going to be starting a new project in today's and the next episode, so that's going to be a little interesting. Not quite sure where it's going to take us, but I feel it's time to change things up just a bit. So, nothing looks out of the ordinary or different from the previous episode from this position, even with my render distance. I think we need to go for a little bit of a stroll. Oh, there's a new building in the distance. And what is this building? Very, very large. It is very large. Like from here, you can barely even see the top. I tried to make this as spot on to the original as possible, but I could only see so many angles, and this one is kind of bland. I might put something there in the future, I'm not quite sure, but it is a very heavy materialist and takes a good bit of time to get right. This medieval mansion was designed by Lex the Builder. You could check her video out on YouTube, and I will be sharing that link in the description. This actually stays pretty well lit up at night. Original content does not have as many lampposts or sconces as I've been calling them, but I think it needs a little bit more light than the original video portrays. I'm quite happy with the way it turned out, actually. We'll come inside. I've added quite a bit of sconces around the side. Added some homey touches like a chest underneath the stairwell and the ender chest crafting table. A couple of crafting table and ender chest setups in various rooms just to make sure no matter which room you're in, you have access to all your goodies. It's one thing to see it in the video, it's another to get to walk around. And it offers a nice vantage point for many things to come. Not quite sure how I'm going to terraform this area just yet, but I do plan on putting some other big builds around here and utilizing the terrain a little better than I have been. For the most part, you've noticed that I've been keeping it to 65 Y level, but that is a lot of terraforming to have to bring everything down. Plus, there's some cliff faces that I think we could utilize, so I think we're going to try and keep that section mostly intact. So let's go up to the second floor. You could fit a whole tavern in just one level. That's how big this is. But then we have the additional level up here. Lots of little nooks and crannies, lots of little vantage points. I tried to keep most of the details as close as I could. This room, basically completely empty, unused, aside from a few sconces. It would be pretty decent as a smelting room. Or it could be used as a library, because there's a lot of lecterns out here already. It could be used as an enchanting room, honestly. Whatever your needs may be. And then we can go even further up to the top floor. And it's a large open space, which admittedly does not have guardrails. Should probably think about adding some of those in there. This is probably one of the darkest rooms just because this is the roof and I didn't really want to have too many lanterns everywhere. I've also added a few sconces in here and a crafting bench right here in the center so it's easy to access, along with the beautiful vantage point that is this tower. I can honestly almost see my iron farm from here. You can actually see all of the little touches in the roof line, and I'm quite happy. I considered adding an end rod to the top of those little pillars right there. I don't really think it's that necessary. Let me know in the comments if that's something that you would have done, is adding a little extra touch of light poking into the sky. This is what she looks like. The medieval mansion designed by Lex the Builder. Again, video link is in the description. Go check out the OG tutorial. It's so thorough and in-depth that I did not want to build this on camera. So go give her a shout out and let her know I sent you. Not a whole lot going on over here yet. I also did not leave a bed, so we're going to go ahead and take a nap. And then I have one more build to show you, because I went on a little bit of a building spree. This took me probably 3 days in total to put together, just because, you know, real life gets in the way, and I built it in Creative first from scratch, just to see where I could put it so it looks even. This is the only part I'm not entirely fully happy with, just because it doesn't line up totally properly. If I moved it one block over, it would have been absolutely perfect, but I did not think to do that. So that's on me. When you build something in creative and then you build it in survival, you really don't have much of an excuse. You just built it in survival and you built it a block off. Okay, yeah, that's forgivable. Especially something quite that large. It's almost as tall as the wizard statue, if not taller. But only by the little pokey things on the roof. Might have noticed this just briefly as the roof line showed up in the distance. But I have started to fill in this lower area, and this build was actually a collaborative effort from Disruptive Builds and Cryptozoology. The tutorial is a bit janky for my particular liking, and it's a lot faster at times than I would like it to be, but that's just my little critique of it. Other than that, it's very thorough. There's just one other little thing I don't quite like about the video, but that is leaving gaps in walls. I understand it's to save materials, but I don't like the spawnable blocks. No. So I filled all that in. This one is fully furnished in the video, so I've tried to stick to that motif as much as possible. There are a few key details that are not actually possible on Bedrock, and you could tell that it's a Java video because these little things, these little flower pots of such, cannot be placed on leaves, which is a shame. Wonder if they'll ever fix that. Also, not in this room, right in here. The thing that is sitting on the anvil is the lantern, but it won't allow me to place anything on the anvil unless I'm gravity block falling it onto the anvil. And these are not gravity blocks, so that doesn't work. I'm sure there's a glitch I could use that could probably make that function properly, but I'm not going to stress too much about it. 99% of this build is exact, so I'm okay with it. This is supposed to be an azalea sapling. I did not bother putting that in there. I've also added in a couple of ender chests, as you might have noticed, and this, I added in this little extra row here just to make sure whatever we put in goes to level 30. That is actually a note on the screen in the video, so. Overall, quite pleased. And then we have this setup in here for the attic storage, which comes out quite nice. The main difference is I used logs instead of the wood. So I think it adds an extra little bit of texture to have that line of rings, honestly. That link will also be in the description, so thank you to Disruptive Builds and Cryptozoology for coming up with this design together. Alright, so I've also added this little ring here that connects into this. But what I've noticed on this side is that there's a lot more dirt visible in the grass block than I would like, so I'm considering very heavily replacing all of the last block in the row that you can visibly see with a block of moss. Not quite sure if I'm set on it yet, but I'm thinking about it. I also need to figure out what's going to go here, but it's not a perfect square. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on the long end, and 1, 2, 3, 4 on the short end. So there would be some space if I was to put something dead center of it. I'll have to consider what I want to put there. However, we are here for a purpose. I need to grab these. Probably not you yet. And it's time to start working on that little project I mentioned. You know what would help? Having my pickaxe. Alright, so we're going to run across this little bridge here, the OG bridge from the very beginning of my series, back when I was streaming it. Quite happy with how this bridge turned out, and I'm not going to change it anytime soon. Okay, so what we're aiming to do at this point is to, first off, break these. And extend this out. We're going to do the same right here. Right? Or is it one more over? I think it might be one more over. No, that's right. It's just small. Okay, we're good. And then we can break this. That needs to be reconverted into grass or dirt. We can do that in a moment. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, and 3. Put you there. This is to keep up the equivalent motif on the opposite side. Oop, fell in my own hole. Don't make that weird. So got those in there. Let's put this dirt back in play. Turn that into path block so it's not spawnable. Alright, so this whole area is spawn-proofed. Now I have to do this same thing again on the other side. Going to be adding in a network of elevators. So we're going to now break 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That. Okay, I'll do that in a moment, because 1, 2, 3. Chicken, you are on the block I need you to not be. Thank you. We do this, then I can swap that for you. We take these. Completely irrelevant given what's already there, but it's fine. I do have to run back around here while I have these in the hotbar and place this other one, because these all get one on those block. Oh, that was an awesome view. I like the way it's centered on the sword. Okay, let's grab this. Yet again, we do this portion. And then I can grab these, because I'm now done with all of these bits. You are also going to be a down. Come around to the first one. You are going to be the first one that goes down. And then we come back to the one I did first here. You're going to be the only one that comes up. Alright, so now all of the actual elevator entryways are identical. Let's make sure this is negative 594. Run around to this side. 594. Perfect. Okay, so we're done with that. We're going to need these. And I'm going to start this process off with all of the sea lanterns. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to see what the heck we're doing. Have to start off by breaking that. And then we can just drill all the way down. I'm going to be having everything in the far back be sea lanterns. That way, whenever you see the sea lantern, you turn around, and when you get to the bottom, you're going to be facing the exit to the tunnel. Or elevator shaft, I should say. This is going to go all the way down to negative 55, where this ladder way ends. And now I just do a hippity hop all the way back up. So the end goal here is to make a much nicer looking mining setup, because eventually I am going to be not able to use the duping glitch, and I want to actually design a really cool mine. So being able to do so means building a really cool elevator shaft instead of having to rely on these sluggish ladders. It takes what, 5 to 10 seconds just going up the ladder system from here all the way to the surface, which is pretty close to sea level, but it is a bit above it. So probably more time than I would like to spend. Okay, so while I'm right here, here is my deep slate brick. Going to take this opportunity, put these away for now. To dig out the tunnel. I keep calling it a tunnel. It's not exactly a tunnel. And right there. Good, 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 good. Okay, so let's showcase the process of how I get down. 2, 3. And I won't be needing any of the torch spam anymore. It's a lot easier to do it this way than it is to try and pillar up and do it, because then you have to run the risk of getting knocked off your pillar from gravel, which is an unwelcome surprise, I'm certain. Pop that out. Eventually I will be able to relocate these levels, but I am going to be blocking off access to them temporarily while I install this network. Let's see, do I still have? No, I do not. 5 minutes of fire res, because I'm getting to the point where I might end up encountering lava. I would very much like to not. I missed a torch. Rude. Trying to fill some of this in as I go. How is there still more dirt? That's how I missed the torch. Wait. Okay. I'm down here now. Wrong. this a hallway? This is indeed a hallway. Okay. Finally getting to the point. Oh, where we're starting to encounter deep slate. I tried another time to design a cool elevator system, and it just didn't seem like it worked out very well. But this attempt seems to be going pretty well in my mind. Also on the creative world. I've been trying to make sure I keep my creative worlds up to date, so anytime I have a massive build, I try and get that knocked out in the survival portion, and then replace the current creative with the up-to-date one, so I know I'm not overstepping a build. That is roughly where I was afraid was going to happen. So we're going to put that there preemptively. That solves the issue. That's why I had my enchanted golden apples out, because I already built this once, and I wanted to make sure that I would be safe to do so the proper time. Having this entire pillar of lights, it makes it completely safe to rip this out. Crouch. So we want to pop that one there. And then I have to swap out you momentarily. I will be needing the stone. And then we convert that stone into button. And we put button on side. And then we can just pillar up as need be. So that when I get all the way to the top, I can just put the water bucket in, and I don't have to worry about it messing up my torches on the bottom. Don't like that that skelly appears to notice where I am. These kind of things take quite a bit of preparation and forethought. And I am only halfway to being fully prepared for this because I do not have the water bucket in my inventory and I did not bring the necessary kelp. Okay, the one I forgot's all the way up there. Well, that's going to be at the bottom now. Boop, boop. Could I have just dug a single hole, put in the lights, and then the water? Yes. But would that have been good enough? Very much not. Just losing blocks left and right, but these were duped blocks, so it's fine. We're almost there. How many more stacks do I have on me? 1. Might be enough. Alright, my trusty chest. Is there anything in you? Nothing of note, but you know what? I'll make a deposit. You can have that granite. I don't need it. Might say I'm taking it for granted. Terrible joke. Where is... Okay. This is normally the kind of tedious work I leave off of videos, but as I showcased, I've been doing a lot of tedious work off camera, and I feel like you guys have been left out. So let's share some of the tedium together. That is not going to open. Okay. Good thought. Bad execution. Okay. So. That breaks open the hole, and if anything is dumb enough to walk in there before I put the water in, it's dead. Okay, so I need to go get me some iron or a bucket. And I have 2 massive iron farms, so let's go grab iron for a bucket. How much is stored down here currently? A fair amount. Bucket. And I should come around this way because I also need to grab kelp. Honestly, I can access it from either of those exits, but... No! Oh boy. That ain't enough. So let's actually run this puppy and see if it breaks. Nope, it didn't break. Perfect. It's actually working the way I need it to. Kelp is one of the resources I did not bother to dupe, so these machines can still be useful. Honestly surprised all of the format changes that Minecraft has put through the ringer have not actually broken this. Lose any of the kelp in the bottom? Surprisingly, no. All right. Okay, I'm thinking 2 stacks of kelp will be enough. It's 120 blocks. We sit... Yeah, that should be plenty. In theory, but just to be safe, 3rd stack. You could always lose some, and I can't afford to do that. Ha, parkour. Honestly, the next part is pretty flashy, and it's self-explanatory. You put the bucket in, you pour the height that you need, make sure it hits the bottom, go down to said bottom, put the kelp all the way up, and then you go to the bottom and replace it with either soul sand or a magma block. This case, it's going to be a magma block because I have some ideas on how to get back up in various other locations, as well as that one across the way. Water is in there. I have to wait for it to go all the way down. And that's going to be the end of today's episode. So thank you for watching. And we're going to be placing some more strategically positioned elevators in the near future. One of which is going in one of the builds that I showed you today. Catch you next time, folks. It's about to get really interesting.